ActualJusticeWarrior is a he is a libertarian YouTuber, and he, for one, hates the poor, because all conservatives hate the poor. We all know this. This is very true. And he makes a lot of videos on just electoral politics, things that are going on in today's politics. He's kind of like a Tim Pool type. He talks about a lot of a lot of similar things, like a bunch of headlining titles, but he tries to dig a little bit deeper. He has more brains on him than Tim Pool could ever probably imagine, with everything that he's working with. And so I found him not too long ago. I'm looking for another, because there were two videos I wanted to go over by him. What was it? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay. So there, let me show you his profile, right? Yes, massive 10 head libertarian here. This is his profile. ActualJusticeWarrior. He's a head and shoulders above the other commentators on this site, because instead of always using the creepy sort of fetish drawn character with the suit with the, you know, the crossed arms, and they have like five expressive poses, he's actually there. He's a human being sitting in a chair talking to you. It's pretty wild, you know. And he thinks he's an actual justice warrior. He's fighting for real justice. He's trying to get the government off your back so you can be rammed by corporations, because that's true. That's what true liberty is. And as you can see, Joe Biden destroys Bernie, the far left intolerance. He talks about some other stuff. Baby Yoda is a Mary Sue. SJWs attack a Baby Yoda. You know, the same cringy SJWs bad, left wing dumb, I very smart, government do a thing that means socialism big bad. Not breaking new ground here. Oh hey, nice to see you. How timely of you, Yoda. Did you know that SJWs were attacking you? Why are you a Mary Sue? Why, for one, why are you a Mary Sue? You can't believe Gamers Rise Up is banned? I can. Oh, thank you so much for the follow. We're gonna get into Gamers Rise Up in just un momento. Also, thank you so much for that follow. I really appreciate it. I try and stream every single day. I do political content and gaming content because I am a gamer, all right? I have no girlfriend. I am single. And that's why I have all this time to do this. I like plants, if you didn't know. Where's the plant? Oh, here's a plant. Look, it's a plant. See that? Look at the little babies in there. Oh. All right. That's your manifesto? Yodism. Thank you, I appreciate it. Yodism, is that? I'll get into it in uno momento. All right, we're gonna stop the music. Stop the music. Get this Tokyo Ghoul out of my face. All right. So here's a video. Like podism. So here's a video by this character, and oh, actually, let's go with this one, because this is the one I wanted to talk about first. So here's a video by this character. You want me to read it? All right. It's from UK Politics. What is this? Yodism, British Manifesto. House of Commons and House of Lords. If we get elected, we will change the amount of members of parliament we have from 650 to 420. This means that we will be reducing the amount of constituencies there are. 211 seats in the House of Commons will be required for a majority. We will decrease the amount of people in the House of Lords from 300 to 69. These changes will be made to help strengthen democracy in the UK. Economic policy. Thank you. Why would you reduce the number of in the House of Lords? They're all called Lords. But I see, 420, 69. You got the weed number and the sex number. It's very funny. It's very haha funny indeed. We got a Brit bonger in chat. Yikes. If you are homeless, get a house. Very simple. True? Can I get a true in chat? Healthcare policy. We think that the United States healthcare system is doing great, is going in the right direction. But we want to go further than it already is. Healthcare is a privilege, not a human right. Remember that. Back in the good old days, people did not have all the modern medicine we have today. People just tough through the illness. Hell yeah, dude. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Yoda had no medicine. He just had midichlorians. We will ban all antibiotics, care for the weak, or anything else that was not around in the 1700s. You guys are just the Amish. Educational policy. Children do not need education. They can work on potato farms. I didn't know you're Irish. Once they have spent 10 years on the potato farm, we will teach them basic maths, readings, writing. Wait, they won't know how to read while they're on the potato farm? Well, I guess you don't really need to know how to read a hoe. For 75,000 euro a year. Well, that's not euro. Wait, it's UK, right? Is that pounds? That's pounds now, right? Real and true. This is very, very true. Brexit policy. We do not only want to leave the European Union, but the North Atlantic Treaty Organization as well. Oh, I thought you were going to say you wanted to leave the North Atlantic, like pick up the entire nation and move it somewhere. Like tie some tugboats to Big Ben in the House of Commons in Parliament and just tug it somewhere else. That's this is because a huge amount of money they cost us. This is because of the huge amount of money they cost us. We will use the money to save from being in these groups on building the British Empire. You're gonna rebuild the British Empire? The sun never sets on the British Empire. Racial policy censored. That's cute. Honestly, this is cute. That's funny. That's a funny meme. You get a haha funny from me. You get I'll give that 4 out of 5 ha-has. Your environment. Oh, did I skip over the environmental policy? And also, is this British or is this for the UK? I'm not sure. Which one is it? Economic, healthcare, educational, environment. Oh yeah, here it is. Climate change does not exist. North Korea is heating the earth with heat bombs. Holy shit. Get it out of here. I can't. Listen, we're supposed to keep that under wraps. Why would you let me read that on stream? We're supposed to keep that under wraps. That's classified information. We can't let the masses know. Imagine coming on here and being like, oh yeah, aliens exist, right? You throw the world into a tizzy. We're already dealing with the coronavirus, my dude. Created by Corona Corporation. North Korea is heating the earth with heat bombs. To respond to this attack, we will require every British citizen to have a fridge that is constantly open. Once the earth cools back down, we will be able to close our fridges again. Lots of people say that we are running out of fresh water. All we need to do is get some water from the sea and drink it. Simple as that. Regarding fossil fuels, they do not heat up the earth. This is all North Korea doing, heating up. This is all North Korea heating up the earth. All the scientists saying otherwise are being bribed by Kim Jong-un. We know this due to the leaked emails that we managed to get. Can I have some of these emails? Climate change is a lie made up by Kim Jong-un to hide that he constantly heats the earth with his heat bombs. If climate change does not exist, which it doesn't, it affects foreigners more than us, so it's fine. True. I can't see them. Classified. No, that's classified information. What the heck? Do you keep them? Are you gonna destroy the hard drive too? Just like Miss Clinton destroying all of her videos from the Lolly Express. Yeah, no problem. Welcome back. I just got done reading his manifesto, so it was truly I think I'm gonna be Yodism now. I think I'm going to have to take the dive from progressivism to Yodism. Facts and logic. Yeah, you did really miss manifesto time. It was beautiful. Facts and logic did indeed rule the day, and there's nothing more to do. Join your Discord? Maybe. Let's not get too crazy though. Let's not get too crazy now. All right. It's in the yeah, I saw it. It was at the very bottom. If you wanna join, you can go to Yodism. Let's touch Discords. Mecca, chill. No, that's enough coom in my chat, okay? Oh, yeah. Are you the bottom, or you want him to be the bottom? Is that whose Discord is a bottom? This is important. This is important information. Anyways, we're off topic. Progressive ban dollar stores. This is what you want to be a top? Okay. You're gonna have to run that by Mecca. I don't know what he thinks about that. Progressives hate dollar stores. This is what I've learned. They hate dollar stores, and apparently they want to control the world, just like Lenin wanted to do. This is what I've learned from this guy. So let's get into it. Progressives banning dollar stores ? By ActualJusticeWarrior. Dollar stores are for commies. Get them out of here.
And today I want to talk about an ongoing push among progressive politicians to close down dollar and discount stores, allegedly to help the poor.
For one, this is really ugly. I had a really ugly intro back when I only made YouTube videos, but this is ugly. All right, but we don't make fun of people's appearances, and we all know that YouTube channels are also people, so we're not gonna clown on it too much. It is very creepy. I feel like there are subliminal messages in here telling me to eat my dog and to beat my wife. So we're gonna move on.
Now, you guys might not know this about me, but one of the reasons why I identify myself as a libertarian is actually because I am concerned for the poor in society. Now, I know a lot of you are hearing that and you're saying, whoa, wait a minute. If you were concerned about the poor, then you would identify as progressive. You know who talks about the poor all the time? Bernard McSanderson. Bernie Sanders is always talking about the poor. And yes, while I'll grant that is true, and I'll grant that many progressives do care about the poor, and in fact, despite what you might hear from any given political actor trying to smear their political opponent, care for the poor is actually something that runs across the political spectrum. One of the problems that I have with
let's let him finish this point.
Progressives, and one of the things that I break with them most on is their solutions, because when you delve into the solutions of progressive politicians, you tend to find out that a lot of their solutions don't really help the poor, and in fact really are designed to shape the world in their vision.
Okay, so he made a couple points there. Let's tackle them. First point, everybody likes to help the poor. Care for the poor is not political. It's not. It goes across the system. That is such a vague sentiment that I don't really know what to make of it. Help the poor is so incredibly vague. I mean, everybody thinks that they're helping the poor. I mean, I don't think anybody goes with a political belief because they think that they're wrong. Everybody thinks that they're the hero of their own story. So that doesn't really mean anything. That means do the right thing. Well, I'm a libertarian because I think that I'm doing the right thing. And despite what people on the left may tell you, doing the right thing is not political. Everybody wants to do the right thing. Well, I mean, yeah, sure, I guess. I mean, I don't think this guy would disagree that Lenin or Stalin thought they were doing the right thing, by helping people. In essence, this is a cost of doing business. We just gotta kill some people, and that's the cost of doing business. Hitler thought he was doing the right thing. You know, you just got to get the Jews out of here, and you know that's the cost of doing business. But that's incredibly vague, and I haven't seen any good ideas from like libertarians or conservatives for helping the poor. So all I've seen are them putting up spiked sidewalks to stop them from sleeping there. I'm not sure how much that helps the poor, but you know, maybe he'll get into it.
They're more about control than actually solving the problem. And
More about control than actually solving the problem. This sounds a lot like projection.
a lot of times it's because there is a belief amongst progressive circles that they should be the ones who design the world, and if you give them that control, then they will solve the problems. But unfortunately,
Wait, can you? I don't know about any of you guys, any of you people in chat, but I don't know how many people think that their idea, only if it was implemented, would solve these problems. Isn't that the whole point of having like these ideas? I bet if you press this guy, he'd be like, "Oh yeah, if you implement all of these ideas that I like, then it would solve all these problems." Yeah? I mean, I would expect that he has some prescriptive statements about the world, like at all. I think that means that he thinks that his way of doing things is right. Everybody wants to be the benevolent dictator. Only if everybody listened to me, then everything would be fixed. I mean, that just runs across the whole political spectrum everywhere. That's not crazy. Am I crazy? Am I wild for believing that? I don't think so. It sounds pretty right to me. So far he said basically nothing.
fortunately, it's not the case. Now, the reason I open with that statement, other than the fact that I like to hear the sound of my own voice, and I expect you in the audience to like to hear the sound of my voice, is because it's a perfect prelude to what's going on with dollar stores across this country. You see, politicians from across this country, mostly from the Democratic Party, mostly from people that fancy themselves to be progressive members of the Democratic Party, have noticed the rise in dollar stores like Dollar Tree, Dollar General, and the Family Dollar across this nation. And
this is true. In the last year, in my town, and I don't live in like yeehaw country or anything, it's not too bad. In my town, like in my area, like in my district, about like 3 or 4 dollar type stores have opened up in the past year, and that's kind of a lot because my town isn't like massive or anything. There's just been some corners that have opened up, and all of those have just been Dollar Trees and Dollar Generals. So we have a really big one too in a strip mall around here. There have been a lot of dollar stores popping up, and this can cause some problems. And he's gonna try and get into that. Oh, you have a lot of dollar stores, but we're getting a lot more family-run corner stores. Oh, yeah, that's great. We're not getting too many family-run sort of corner stores. We have a little bit, which I like to shop at. Those are always nice. Besides the big box stores, I like Aldi. Aldi is pretty sick. They only do like, they have a really strict guideline about how much what the food can go through before they sell it, and they have some really nice prices too. Callie, call me. Howdy. What's up, partner? How you doing?
And they decided that they need to act legislatively against these discount stores because, according to them, the reason there's obesity in the country is because poor people shop at these stores. Now,
well, I don't think they believe that. Also, how you doing, Callie? Kami? Hope you're doing well. I don't think that like progressives believe that people are poor. People are fat because Dollar General exists. I mean, I'm pretty sure that obesity in this country is a problem for a plethora of reasons even. And one of those could be because of Dollar General, but we'll get into that. And he said act legislatively. I don't know how else you're supposed to act. I don't know how else the government is supposed to act when these things come about. I don't know if he wanted like Antifa to come up to like your local Dollar General and protest and throw Molotovs through the window. I think maybe that's his libertarian dream, like without the government. That's the true, that's how disputes are resolved or something. I don't know.
Now, the reason for this progressive push to limit or outright ban these types of discount stores across this nation is because of a combination of a couple of progressive myths that are just stacked up on top of each other.
Ooh, myth time. It's Mythbusters.
Food deserts. Essentially, for the last 20 years, there's been this argument that the reason why people are obese, and specifically disproportionately poor people are obese in this country, is not because they make bad choices, because of course it can never be that these people are making bad choices. It's because they don't have the options because they live in what are called food deserts, that these people are poor.
Okay, so let's go over this that he brought up. This is from The Root, the myth of food deserts. Um, President Obama's new school lunch law is a good start, but healthy eating begins at the home. I mean, sure, it does. By signing into law, the Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act will naturally not go down in history for Barack Obama. Well, will naturally not go down in history for Barack Obama the way the latest tax compromise has. It's not only that hot kind of news. This doesn't say anything. This doesn't say anything. Hey, thank you so much for the follow, Kalikami. Listen to some podcast from one of the NPR economic shows about dollar stores messing up local economics. Yeah, they're not the best, but we're gonna get more into what it does to people's health more than what it does to their wallets and the local economics, because that's also something I never really knew about, but I'm kind of glad that I knew now. And this guy is kind of wild about what he goes into. Mac and cheese time? Hell yeah.
20 years.
Oh, obesity, last I heard from our own experience, is more of a product of food choice and being expensive, needing to do things and just eat and force. Oh yeah, there's lots of things that go into like obesity. Even like eating too much good food can make you obese. And also,
there's been this breed.
Let's move forward a little bit.
It's not because they make bad choices, because of course it can never be that these people are making bad choices.
Okay, so it can never be that these people make bad choices. All right. So, understanding that they make bad choices, we can understand that. We get that they make bad choices. I don't think anybody is going to sit here and say that shoveling down like half boiling hot, half frozen Salisbury steak Stofers into your mouth 24/7 is going to be a good choice for you, right? For like your longevity and the betterment of your health. I don't think anybody's going to believe that. But it's not really important or conducive to fixing any problems in society if we just say that they make bad choices. I think it's important to understand why they make bad choices. A bad choice doesn't just appear out of the blue, out of nowhere. People don't make bad choices for fun. I'm pretty sure people don't rob stores usually just for fun or like eat themselves into obesity because they feel like it. I'm pretty sure there's something like socio-economic in there that probably led them to make this bad choice. Now, obviously, everybody's choice is their own, but I think that we could do something to help people make better choices. So why is it gone? It's gone because it was racist. If you'd like to stick around or come back in like a little bit, I'm gonna do this video and then get back into and then hop into what happened with Gamers Rise Up. But I was gonna do this video right now, and then after that, we're gonna go into why Gamers Rise Up is gone. But yeah, but it's gone because it's racist, basically. Oh, and a little bit sexist, just a little bit. Gamers Rise Up was cool. It's like it was a subreddit that I would have followed. Everything is racist? No, that's not true. Kappa? Indeed, dude. Damn, I haven't seen a Kappa in a long ass time. I haven't seen a Kappa in a long time. But yes, everything is indeed racist. Even this shirt, it's a little brown. It's kind of racist. The Kappa man. The last one. Yeah, you honestly, you are the last Kappa Kappa poster that I've seen. Kappa's really, I remember back in like 2017, 2015, Kappa was the emote. Like, why would I need any other emote? I have Kappa. And it's just fallen by the wayside. How sad. How the mighty have fallen.
It's because they don't have the options because they live in what are called food deserts, places where they just don't have access to healthy foods. There's no grocery stores in these poor neighborhoods. There's no fresh produce, therefore they're obese, therefore you can't blame them for being obese because in reality, they're just victims.
Ooh, Kappa pride. Ooh, babyface Kappa. I'm using since 2015, never stopped forgetting it. Like I said, people make bad choices, obviously, and your bad choice is your own. But I think we can move blank. But I think we can. Yes, I am also a white supremacist. I do love white rice. I think we can try to understand these bad choices more, as in, like, I think if someone hits somebody with a car, right? let's say you hit somebody with your car. If you hit somebody with your car because you had a heart attack and you passed out on the wheel, I think you'd have less responsibility than if you were texting and driving and hit somebody. And even then, I think you would have less responsibility than someone who saw someone on the street, didn't like their jacket, thought it was really ugly, and decided they wanted to fix it by hitting them. I think these sorts of things are a little different, right? I think we can understand that. I think we can understand what goes into someone making a sort of choice. But libertarians don't really see that. You just make a bad choice because you're dumb and bad, and only thing that rests for you is for you to fall to the end of my knife. If it wasn't for the laws of these lands, I would strike you down.
It's not their actions, it's just the society as a whole. The systemic systems of structural systemic systems that are making these people overweight. Now, this is straight up nonsense, and it's always been nonsense. The idea that people are obese because they live in parts of
food deserts are bad as your hot take. Everyone is a little white. I'm a little white. I was born in New York. There are white people there. We moved to Missouri. There are white people also there. Right now, I'm in a state in the United States. I'm in one of them. Find Sharko. That's your goal. And there are white people here as well. I'm a little white. All right. You see this wall? It's white. Well, white on the inside. Food deserts are bad. Food deserts are bad, and they also don't exist. And also, I want you to keep in mind, right?
Don't have access to healthy foods.
These people don't have access to healthy foods. Let's understand that. So he explained that food deserts don't exist. He doesn't believe food deserts even exist. It doesn't happen, my man. So let's put a pin in that. Let's try to understand. Remember, because it's going to be important later. I'm going to be testing you on it. He in his own words said that food deserts don't exist
because they live. They're just victims. It's not their action. People overweight. Now, this is straight up nonsense. And produce never made any sense, because if you know anything about poor and low income areas, you know that it is much easier to open stores or do fruit stands in those exact areas.
Okay. All right. I don't know if this guy's living in like 1500 Sicily or something, but never have I ever seen a fruit stand. Okay. And I live a little bit in the country. Actually, that's a lie. I do see fruit stands, but you know when they are? They're in the spring and summer, the growing season. And my fruit stand, my local farmer's market, is only open during spring and summer and during the weekends. Now, I don't know about you, but I shop a little bit more for food than in spring and summer and the weekends. We don't go into hibernation, okay? I need food year round. My big brain takes up a lot of calories in my head, all right? I'm chug-a-lugging. I'm using hundreds of thousands of calories every nanosecond to make these sort of takes that I do, okay? And that's why I need you guys to subscribe with Twitch Prime, because it's tough out here, okay? But I've never seen a fruit stand. I live in the United States, okay? I don't live in freaking Europe or France where they have cheese stands. I've never seen a fruit stand in my entire life.
So in reality, when the myth of food deserts was put under scrutiny, it was discovered that these neighborhoods, these alleged food deserts, aren't food deserts at all. They're actually swarming in food. It's just people making bad choices.
Wait, let's see. Fairway has been thriving in West Harlem for 15 years with gorgeous accessibility priced produce, practically spitting out into the sidewalk. Plenty of local black people shop in it. It's a walk away, blah, blah, blah. Yet obesity is still rife in West Harlem, including among teenagers raised on food bought here. To see. There are supermarkets simply stocked with fresh food, priced modestly, suggesting that neighborhoods where the average weight of people is distinctly higher on the Upper East Side. Well, it's also like a time-based thing, right? You don't have time to cook. Usually, poorer people, instead of spending money, since they don't have money, they spend time. And they do other things, right? There are lots of people who could cook but don't. Yes, these are still bad choices, but I think there are more things that go into it than they just make bad choices. So, well, what's he even trying to say there? They make bad choices, so who cares? Is that what he's trying to say? Like, who cares then? I don't get it. I don't even get the point of making this point. What is it? If any of you people know, if any of you guys in chat know, I don't get it personally.
And thus leading to their own obesity. Another factor in the poor food choices of low-income people is the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, aka food stamps. Food stamps don't work everywhere. In fact, they work very specifically in specific types of stores. So if your food stamps can only be redeemed at a grocery store that has expensive produce, you might opt for the cheaper options. The fruit stand that's selling cheap produce, that has to come out of your pocket, not the government's pocket, so you might opt for the stuff at the store rather than the cheaper, healthier options that could be popping up in random places, as they tend to do across the country.
So food deserts don't exist. Everybody has access to good food all the time. This is what he says. Also, food stamps makes you go to expensive stores because you don't spend your own money to get food. And that's what's making people make bad choices. But if that's the case, then they always have access to good food because all of those stores always have good food. I don't know what he's trying to say there. Also, he hates the poor. You know why? Because he says that you make bad choices on food stamps. Okay, let's try and move away from this great, beautiful libertarian myth. Since he loves his mythical myths, right? Good mythical Saturday. All right, so I had to go to another screen because I wanted to pull this back up. So here's what people buy with food stamps. It's a Huffington Post article that goes through a study commissioned by the U.S. Department of Agriculture to see how people spend their food stamps. How do you think people spend their food stamps? Surprise, surprise, just like normal people spend their money. So let's look. What's the top thing for people who are on SNAP programs? Their top thing is soft drinks. They buy soda. Wow. Next thing is milk, beef grinds, bagged snacks, and cheese. All right. So first things first, top 5. Beef grinds, cheese, and milk. That sounds like a staple of like an American household and just like a poor person household in general. You can go pretty far on milk, cheese, bag snacks, right? And beef grinds. You can take that pretty far. That's not really a healthy option, but it will fill you up. And that's mostly what people are looking for. And what's it for people who are on SNAP programs? It's milk, soft drinks, cheese, baked bread, bag snacks. Wow, would you look? The only thing that changed here is bread. So people on SNAP buy less bread, but only slightly, and they buy more soft drinks, but still by around 1.5% more, like 1.75% more likely to buy soft drinks than people who don't have SNAP. So it seems like it's less of people make dumb choices, I guess, because they're on SNAP. I think it's more of people just probably don't really have their priorities too straight when it comes to buying the best food. Let's go down. Chicken, fresh chicken is number 8, and it's slightly lower for people off of food stamps. The light purple line is for people who don't have food stamps, so you won't have to like compare left to right too much. For both, the bottom is eggs, muffin, and potatoes. I was wondering why. I do love potatoes, but maybe the eggs and muffins are bringing it down because I haven't had a muffin in many years. Sparkling water, obviously, it comes from the freaking tap, dude. Lunch meat is moved up further for people off of food stamps. Honestly, by looking at this, it seems like people on food stamps spend their money a little bit better, except for soft drinks, I guess. But I don't know what he's on about either. If people in a situation are constantly making bad choices that leads to negative outcomes, then maybe we should change the situation. Yeah, maybe let's change the situation so people make good choices. Or maybe he's just dog whistling and saying we should just kill them or something. I don't know. I have no clue. Maybe they're just inferior human beings. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, buddy.
Now look, this isn't me trying to shift the blame from fictional food deserts to the federal government. The SNAP program is a supplemental nutrition program. It's literally in the name. It's not meant to be one's entire food budget, but we can see through SNAP data what people on the program spend that money on. And we can tell with the data from the SNAP program that a lot of this money that's being spent to supposedly keep people alive is going towards sweetened drinks like soda. It's going to snacks like ice cream and cookies. Now these
okay.
supposedly keep people alive
Wait, let's see.
going towards sweetened drinks.
Let's actually read, because I know nobody who liked this video decided to read any of the things he brought up. Junk food stamps. Americans are getting fatter. The share of adults who are overweight or obese rose from 56% in the late 80s to 70% today. The Center of Disease Control says that obesity is linked to a wide range of serious health problems. The agency calls obesity an epidemic, and the federal government has launched many initiatives to tackle it. Indeed, the government takes obesity very seriously, that it funds a $78 billion program for people to buy any type of food they want at 250,000 retail stores nationwide. The program subsidized 46 million people to buy such items as soft drinks, candy, cookies, and snack crackers. What are snack crack? Is there a problem with snack crackers? Should poor people not be buying crackers? And ice cream. Okay, so let's look at some data. All right. Obviously, the first thing is soft drinks, but that doesn't change too much from how normal people spend their money. Non-poverty stricken people spend their money. Where's cookies? They said cookies as well. Wow, would you look? Cookie is 17th. People on Snap actually buy cookies less often than people who are on Snaps buy cookies less often than people who aren't on Snaps. Wow, incredible. What else? Candy. Let's see where's candy. Wow, 11th place. They also buy candy less too. Wow, incredible. And snack crackers. I don't know if crackers are on here. Then maybe baked bread. Maybe. The only thing you can really say is soda. And I don't know, you're not buying candy. You're not buying cookies. I mean, I think I'm fine with them buying like a Mountain Dew, I guess, have fun.
Like soda, it's going to snacks like ice cream and cookies. Now, these purchases are made in locations where they have healthier options that people could buy, but this is what people on the SNAP program and people in the country overall choose to spend their food budget on. And after 20 years of the government trying to solve this imagined problem of food deserts across the country by subsidizing the opening of grocery stores that are supposedly healthier for the consumer, that hasn't changed. People sure do shop at those grocery stores, but they make the same choices when they have all the choices in front of them. Now, despite the fact that the food desert myth is just that, a myth, that doesn't mean
I don't have to read that one.
Still trying to solve the problem of food deserts.
Wait, so food deserts are a myth. The government's trying to get people less fat. I don't know what he's trying to say then. So getting people to make better choices doesn't work. Food deserts don't exist. People just make bad choices, and so we should just let people be fat? Or I don't know what's his plan. Poor people can have snack crackers as a treat. Only a little bit as a treat. Don't kill them now. All right, don't kill them now. We're gonna send ActualJusticeWarrior after them. Crack the whip. Slap the cracker out of their hands. Snap the freaking Ritz cracker out of your hand. I was gonna say you should be eating bread, but it is bread. What should he be eating? Like a strawberry or something? It's probably way more expensive and far more perishable.
Worse, it doesn't mean that politicians aren't willing to stack on or pile on or add things to that myth in order to justify more terrible legislation. And this is exactly what's happening when it comes to the dollar store bans that we're starting to see pop up across the country. Basically, stores like Dollar General, Dollar Tree, and Family Dollar don't sell enough fresh produce to the liking of local politicians, so they've decided to craft laws to target these stores and put them out of business because they want stores like Whole Foods and Kroger's and Trader Joe's to open up in their communities.
Okay. So I don't know what the massive problem is with that. Maybe he just hates it when the government tells people who aren't helping people to stop. But like I said, I've had a couple of Dollar Generals open up in my town. I don't know about you, but one of those Dollar Generals, sells fresh produce. Just one. And they say they sell apples and oranges and bananas. And that's all they sell. That's the fresh produce that he's talking about, okay? So if a Dollar General moves into a store where a Walmart isn't around, where an Aldi isn't around, where a Trader Joe's or a Whole Foods isn't around for people to spend their snaps, and then they go to Dollar General where they don't have any fresh produce, and then they buy a Salisbury Stouffer's and a Mountain Dew instead of like a bushel of strawberries, then I think we could probably tackle that. Maybe, let's have some places move in here where people can be more likely to make better choices. I think if you give people more options to make better choices, usually they'll make like a percentage of them will make better choices. If you push them to, I think even more of them will.
And that's not me being sarcastic or hyperbolic, because if you read the articles, which I will have linked in the description box below that I use as sources to make this video, when you get to the politician statements, right after they start talking about how the dollar stores somehow are making their residents fat because, you can't make any good choices if they have a dollar store in your area.
Okay, first regulators believe the growing presence of small box stores give people the wrong impression about their town's economic prosperity. I mean, kind of. I mean, if I drive through like a small town in Bufu nowhere, and it has a church, and it has a neighborhood, and they're like those like truck windmills, those like little ones that people have sticking in their yard, and the little wheels spin when the wind goes by. And you have that, and it looks like it's just like a spread out trailer park. And they have $12 generals. They probably have a Dollar General for every 10 people in this area. It's probably not a good area. It probably doesn't say good things about the economic prosperity of this area. That's true. It would be nice for other things that will most likely have actual produce there to be there. I mean, that's just true. I mean, if you see poor people, if you see an area that looks poor, you're going to think it's poor. And if you don't want a place to look like it's poor, because aesthetics is important in politics, sadly, it is. I think that's important.
Area because poor people are invalids basically to progressive politicians. They start talking about how they don't like the way the dollar.
Let's read the rest of that. The second reason they offered blah 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 blah. The second reason they offered getting rid of the smaller, less expensive stores has to do with a paradoxical concern with food deserts. These food deserts are geographical locations where people have limited access to fresh produce, vegetables, and other foods associated with a healthy diet. Dollar stores, like their big box competitors, offer lots of unhealthy foods like sodas, potato chips, sweet cakes, and cookies. But unlike the big stores, they seldom have a produce section, although they do offer plenty of juices. And frozen meat and soup. Wow. Okay. So even in this little article is disputing his point, where it's like, oh yeah, these places that don't have any big box stores that also sell bad food just sit there and like, they're chilling. Big box stores, we sell bad food, but we also have good food. These places don't even have good food. And you're saying there's no problem with them there? Also, 2Chart. Thank you so much for that follow. My name is Shark30. I do political content and gaming content. I try and do it about every day. I'll try and get back to it every other day. I really appreciate that follow. Hopefully I'll see you more in chat. Where is it? Where's what?
Or in your area because poor people are invalids basically to progressive politicians. They start talking about how they don't like the way that these stores make their neighborhoods look.
Okay, let's also read this one because this one's also important. And I know he most likely didn't read. He probably read the first couple sentences and then put the rest in. I'm glad he put the entire thing in so we can disprove him in his own video. It's beautiful, isn't it? The latest front in the food wars has emerged over the last few years in cities like Oklahoma, Tulsa, Fort Worth, Birmingham, Georgia's DeKalb County have passed restrictions on dollar stores, prompting numerous of communities to consider similar curbs. New laws and zoning regulations have limited how many of these stores can open, and some require those already in place to sell fresh food. Behind the sudden disdain for these retailers, typically discount variety stores smaller than 10,000 square feet, are claims by advocacy groups that they saturate poor neighborhoods with cheap, overprocessed food, undercutting the retailers with lowering the quality of offerings in poor communities. See, he's the type of person to go on about how immigrants come by and lower the wages for the people who natively work there, right? But he won't claim the same thing for these food stores, these Dollar General stores that come in and try and do these things. I'm left wing. I'm a lefty boy. I love the left. Left is best. Even. But I'm more left-wing libertarian. I want people to be able to make good choices. I think the government can push and nudge people in certain directions. I think that's the role of the government. and it should do its best to help people make better choices. Starting to think that increasing profit doesn't always translate in increasing the things we value as society. I'm starting to think that too, buddy. Maybe making the most money doesn't always run parallel to having a good society. Maybe just a little bit, just a tiny bit. I'm a lefty boy. An analysis from the Center for Science in the Public Interest, for instance, argues that when you have so many dollar stores in one neighborhood, there's no incentive for a full-service grocery store to come in. And other critics, like the Institute for Local Self-Reliance, go further, contending that these dollar stores led by giant Dollar Tree and Dollar General chains sustain poverty by making neighborhoods seem rundown. It's a recipe for locking in poverty rather than reducing it. Okay, so you have these small stores taking up zoning space. Why not joking the right side? Oh, why not joining the right side? You know what? Give me the conservative elevator pitch, and then I'll let you know how I feel. All right? give me like the conservative anime opening, and I'll let you know how I feel about it. So these Dollar General comes in, taking up zoning space with most likely no good food to offer people, over processed food, and cheaply saturate the market and make it less likely for grocery stores to move in an area that most likely is a place where grocery stores have, like, larger stores like larger stores like freaking Walmart or whatever, or Aldi or Whole Foods, are already less likely to join. It makes them even less likely to come in and offer these people better food. I don't know what's good about these places. Freedom. You know what? I do like freedom. Why does the right offer more freedom than the left? And what does freedom mean? I think those are also two very important questions. You know what? If you'd ever want to debate or anything, let me know. I could hop you and jump you in Discord, and we could talk about it.
How they make them look more run down than the politicians have perceived the neighborhoods to be. And in reality, we need grocery stores and fancier grocery stores that are more suitable to that politician. And honestly, it's this kind of attitude from politicians that made me want to make this video. Because if you know anything about the history of these type of stores, specifically Dollar General, you know that they built their stores, and they still do build their stores, to serve communities that other stores completely ignore. 75% of Dollar General locations are in towns of less than 20,000 people. These small town locations.
Well, I personally want more. Well, government control is an interesting way to put it. I want more government involvement in some places, and I want less government involvement in other places. I don't think carte blanche, just stripping government control over lots of industries, is a good idea. I think we should be smart and pragmatic about it, because I don't think government control over whether or not you should rape someone should be, taken away. I think the government should have some control over whether or not you should be punished for raping someone. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with the government saying having control over whether or not you put your money in the bank and then the bank just takes your money and says heck off. I think there should probably be some government control over that too. I don't think there should be government control over lots of social things. I think that should be left up to society to figure out. I think the government can push and nudge and sort of try and build up social expectations for people, but I don't think that should be done legislatively. Far left like Bernie, I think Bernie's pretty cool. I don't think he's too far left for what he advocates for. Maybe in his heart he may be too far left for some people. I don't think he's too far left. Sounds kind of chill. Dollar General caters mainly to low and middle income customers in rural and suburban areas. Dollar Tree targets suburban middle class shoppers, while Family Dollar focuses on low income, urban and rural customers. Dollar General likes to build stores in rural areas where big box stores are not within 15 or 20 miles. Around 75% of Dollar General stores are in towns with less than 20,000 people. And the chain has the biggest footprint in southern states, which is, mainly the problem. obesity is mainly a problem in the southern states, mostly a problem in the southern states. Dollar General has more stores in Texas alone than Costco and Whole Foods do combined nationwide. Okay. So Dollar General, which I hope everybody remembers, he said food deserts don't exist. So Dollar General, which we've already know, which by some of the articles that he's put up, Dollar General doesn't sell good food. And Dollar General has 75% of its stores in places with less than 20,000 people, which is more likely not to have a big box store that sells actual groceries. So, if this is not what you call a food desert, then I don't know what is. I don't know about you guys, but I really don't want to have to drive 20 miles to go get decent groceries. And honestly, if push comes to shove, I most likely won't. If I lived in one of those towns where I had no grocery store within 15 miles, I'd probably spend most of my time shopping at the Dollar General, which most likely won't have good produce or a good and varied selection of produce like most Dollar Generals have.
Locations across this country are typically about 15 to 20 miles away from a big box grocer like Walmart or Target or any of these other giant grocery store chains that tend to ignore these small areas, which means that Dollar General's specific business model is to serve communities that these stores ignore. Now, because the average Dollar General location is about 7,500 square feet, which compared to Walmart supercenters, which average 100,000 square feet per location, and the fact that most of their store locations are in places where the rent is typically low, these stores are incredibly profitable. And that's what really bothers these politicians. You have a small box store, which comparatively to a bigger box chain is paying less in taxes because they have lower operating costs, and you as a politician believe that you're entitled to that fictional tax revenue of these bigger stores, and you believe that Dollar General itself is what's keeping these bigger stores out of there. Now, that's completely not true. I just got through explaining to you guys that it's the business model of these dollar stores to open in locations that the big box stores do not open in, but to a politician, reality is rarely a factor in their policy proposals. As ridiculous as it sounds, politicians would rather take taxpayer money to subsidize the opening of these big box locations on the promise of future tax revenue
Test 1 2. Okay, we're back. Do you remember the last thing that I said? Also, thank you so much for letting me know. I looked at my levels and I'm like, why is my level not moving when I talk? You remember the last thing that I said? But I was saying that my dogs are panting. I was saying that they have such low operating costs, mostly because everything can sit on the shelves for like 5 years. A nuke could go off in that town. You could probably walk into a Dollar General and pick up some food, like a year after the bomb went off. You know, it'd be like one of those stores in DayZ. Ooh, a can of Burt's baked beans, and it's cooked too. You know, and that's probably why they have such low operating costs. I was talking to Cart. Okay, weird. All right, hopefully I didn't lose too much. Did he say anything else?
that fictional tax revenue of these bigger stores and areas, which means that Dollar General's specific business model is to serve communities that these stores ignore.
Okay, hopefully I didn't miss too much.
Like, open up and run efficiently in their communities. In Stonecrest, Georgia, they actually outlawed the opening of small box stores that are under 1,200 square feet and sell most of their items for $5 or less. And
oh, let's go back to that because I think that one was important too. The latest example comes from the courtesy of the Atlantic Journal-Constitution. After reports detailed how the city of Stonecrest, Georgia, outlawed future small box discount stores with fewer than 1,200 square feet and places that sell most of $5. Two concerns motivated this move. First, regulators believe that the growing presence of small box stores give people the wrong impression about their economic prosperity. And we already went over that. SEC thinks the stigma associated with having multiple dollar stores. Instead, they're hoping for the entry of stores like Whole Foods and Sprouts. The second reason, less expensive stores do the paradigm. Oh, we already went through
small box
this.
Stores that are under 1,200 square feet and sell most of their items for $5 or less. And they did that under the asinine justification that outlawing these type of stores somehow will improve the lives of people in poverty. I mean, seriously, if you're poor or you're on a fixed income, Dollar Tree is an excellent option for certain items. I shopped at Dollar Tree when I had a lot less money, and it really helped me out. And before I actually had a driver's license and I could actually make the trip out to Dollar Tree, I wasn't shopping at Whole Foods. You know where I was shopping? At 7-Eleven and local corner stores, which have insanely high prices. And ironically, at least for me, all the money that I saved from not shopping at these corner stores, which have insanely high prices, and not shopping at 7-Eleven and shifting to Dollar Tree, actually made my diet healthier because I had all that money left over to go to grocery stores and get better food that they don't typically carry at the Dollar Tree. And apparently...
Oh. Okay. Well, Mr. No Car, poor, who has to shop at Dollar Tree, how do you think that you would get to a grocery store that has good food with all the money that you save shopping at Dollar Tree if that store was 20 miles away? How do you think that he'd do that? What about you? What about you guys in chat? Do you think that you could do that? Because I personally don't think that'd be super easy, you know? So they have no good food, and you most likely and people with no cars are most likely probably not going to get there. I'm pretty sure that there were actually people in his situation, but actually in a worse situation, because not only did they not have a car and only have access to Dollar General, but they also had no grocery store in their area to shop for good food at. Amazing. Absolutely incredible. Incredible. The dissonance in this man's head, how he can simultaneously have all of these ideas all compounded into one big ball and say, maybe the problem isn't Dollar General, it's the government saying Dollar General shouldn't be there. Wow. Amazing.
Apparently, I'm not alone in this, because there have been dollar store locations that have closed down in small towns, and big box stores did not move in to fill the void. People just started shopping at 7-Eleven or gas station markets. They paid way more money for their items, and they weren't eating any healthier. These attacks on
that's true. Good. Did he bring it up? I wish he brought it up. I'm not sure if he brought it up. I'm not sure if we went through it. No, that's where he's saying that poor people are just dumb. New zoning laws, regulation, how many stores can open. Oh, here it is. New laws and zoning regulations limit how many of these stores can open, and some require these stores already in place to sell fresh food. So honestly, it seems like they have a solution to this. Instead of just forcing them to leave, you limit them and then force them to sell good food. Wow, they've done it already. They've done it for him. He just doesn't see it. Wow. The right truly does have all the answers. I'm not sure if I'll get help from the invisible hand, probably. The invisible hand is very cute. I like it when it tickles my neck. Killing people is sometimes bad, but I'm a Twitch partner, so I can never ever condone political violence. All right, political violence is bad, even in Minecraft. All right.
In Georgia, and other laws being passed across the country that try to make it more difficult for these dollar stores to open so close to one another don't make this country better. It doesn't make the lives of poor people in this country better. It makes them worse. Dollar stores like this typically open in underserved areas in the market. That's their entire business model. They don't create underserved areas in the market. But that's not what this was ever really about. This is about politicians, specifically progressive politicians, thinking it's their job to engineer society. They believe it's their job to decide what choices you have. This is also about grocery store chains.
I mean, the government should have like a little bit of say into what choices people have, so hopefully they can make better choices, because what they should do always, the government's job should be to work in the interest of the people. And I mean, if the people don't like it, they can vote in new people to change it. I mean, that's how it should work. Yeah, no more wars, except for wars for cat girls. hopefully soon in the future, there will be no more wars over oil and terrorism. There will be only wars for cat girls and how many cat girls are allotted to an incel. I'm hoping to get 3 cat girls a week. So I think that's about it for this video. This video is very cringe. I did hate it, and hopefully they will never return. Would I be interested in talking about democratic strategies in 2020? Sure, bud. Vibes fruit. Why were you interested in having me on for something? I was going to move on to this video. We'll probably not spend too much time in this video. I want to go by with it super quick because I'm kind of tired of this guy. But this is a video about intolerance. This is the video about how terrible the left is, so horribly intolerant towards people that they do not like.
What's up, guys? Sean here, and today I'm going to talk about this idea of repressive tolerance because I believe
you run a progressive politics podcast. Do you prefer Discord or Google Hangouts? I prefer Discord personally. I've never used Google Hangouts. It kind of scares me. It kind of reminds me of Skype, but somehow more soulless. At least Skype has an air of people who spend too much time on DeviantArt. Skype is the kind of place where you watch porn together with your online friend. Discord, it's sophisticated, you know, and Google Hangouts kind of reminds me more of Skype. So I think I'm more of a Discord kind of guy. Sounds a bit quiet. I'll turn it up. I think he changed his microphone. What's your Discord server tag? What is my wait a second. All right, uno momento stream. I have to figure it out because I think it's just my name. It should be just my regular name, but I want to make sure. Whoops. Yeah, here you go. Yeah, I'll send it to you. Oh, hello. Whoops. Okay. I'll PM you. There you go. And you can add me. You should learn how to use Discord. Discord's good. Discord's like one of the only good like voice sites that I've ever used. Skype is just makes me very uncomfortable, and that's all I can say about that.
I believe that understanding this philosophy will help you understand the far left and the mainstream left a lot better.
Oh, here we go. Oh, also, this is how fast he talks. Just so you know, the last video was sped up. This is how slow. Listen how creepy this intro is.
A lot better.
Why is it so creepy? Wait, can I slow it down? I want to slow it down. How creepy can we get this? Maybe a little faster. What is this intro, dude? I hate it. I hate it so much. I saw your friend request. I'll add you in just a second.
Chances are, if you're a regular viewer of this channel or this type of content, you've heard the term identity politics put out a lot by content creators on YouTube. Now, in general, unless you find yourself on the left side of the political spectrum, identity politics are considered to be a negative thing. They're considered to be incredibly destructive and divisive, and for most times when people are covering identity politics on the internet or on television, this is a pretty accurate descriptor. However, it's not...
I mean, I'll agree with that. I think most of the time when people use identity politics, it's mostly used as a cudgel to beat other people with. You take someone's race, you put it into like a little ball, you forge it into the head of a hammer, and then you beat somebody over the head with it. That's usually how people use identity politics. Identity politics in its entirety isn't bad. It's not rotten to the core. You just have to use it in the right way. Yeah, honestly, That is not art. It's somehow the antithesis of art. It's not art. It's bad. I hate it, and it may be giving me some variety of leukemia every time I watch it. So that's why we only limited his videos to 2. You know, it's like when you go in for an X-ray, you can only get like a certain amount of X-rays a year. Is that kind of thing? You can we can only watch that video a couple times.
Precise enough to go into what we're talking about today. So for the purposes of clarity in this video, I'm going to divide up identity politics into 2 separate categories. And just for reference, these are not categories that I myself have actually come up with. I'm actually reading a book called The Coddling of the American Mind by psychologist Jonathan Haidt, which I highly recommend. And this is where I'm getting the categories from, and I'm drawing a lot of the information for this video from that book, so I definitely recommend
he's a reader.
or you get it on
Hope
Amazon,
you guys read too.
or find a way to read it in some way, because I find it incredibly compelling and incredibly interesting in my quest to better understand why the left acts the way that they do.
Wait, that's a fake Wait a second. That's a fake YouTube award. That's not real. Wait, is that real? Is that what it looks like? Is that really what it looks like? It looks fake. It looks like he commissioned someone to make it. Wait a second. Is that real? Am I? No, that's fake. That is fake. Look how bad it looks. Wait a second. Yeah, they only give one. Yeah, I'm like, wait a second. I've watched a couple of this guy's videos, and only now I'm just looking at it. For one, the letters are way too big. Look at the A and T there. They're all squished together, and the U and the L are all squished together. I'm like, why does this look so ugly? It looks so incredibly unprofessional. It looks like he made it out of Play-Doh. Holy crap. It does look like a candy bar. That's a fake logo. You know what? He probably bought it on Etsy. Wait a second. Can we? Wait. Please tell me it's real. Please tell me it's real. Please tell me he bought it on Etsy. Please let this be real. Oh my gosh. No, this isn't it. It's not. Honestly, this is way more professional than what his looked like. I was really hoping for it to be real. Maybe we'll find it. That's actually hilarious. That's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Advertisements that make people uninformed are actually good. Listen, because that's capitalism, baby. You know what's worse than people being uninformed? The government informing them. Got it, dude. Let's move on.
The 2 categories of identity politics I want to go over are common humanity identity politics and common enemy identity politics. And whether you're familiar with these terms specifically or not, I think just by the name of the terms, you kind of have a basic understanding of what they mean. However, I do want to go over them and give you some examples in each category so you can understand them better. Now, the easiest example of a common humanity identity politics, especially for American audiences, are the politics of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Now, I want to put a bit of an asterisk right there because Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. has essentially become a saint in the United States of America, somebody who is viewed as this perfect person who did nothing wrong, who held no controversial views,
I mean, I don't know about held no controversial views. Because sadly, like, black people are people is in some places still a controversial view. And I'll agree with his point, but I won't agree with his point from the right. I'm going to agree with his point from the left. King held some economic views that aren't really talked about today. And actually, Bernie Sanders talked about this a little bit as well. King was a socialist. He was like a genuine in his blood socialist. And that is whitewashed. A lot of King's economic policy and a lot of his other policy or other political prescriptions that weren't easily fit into the civil rights movement weren't really talked about and kind of like fell to the wayside. So he was molded into this pillar of pure American ideology, and the socialism thing just kind of was, just like a background singer that got pulled off of set with like the big the big cane, like they do in cartoons. That's what happened. Also, thank you so much for following Vibe Fruit. I really appreciate that. Was your podcast going to be sometime today or like some other time? You can, if you don't want to talk about it in chat, you could always PM me or something and I can get to it as soon as possible.
Help guide America to
down with public education. The intro is so bad. It gets to the point where it's so bad it's good. It's past the point. It's just it got to it's bad. It's so bad, but it's good, and then it's funny. But then it just became really, really bad to where I'm honestly really want to skip it. Oh, it's pre-recorded, so you can do it tonight.
However,
okay, give me a little bit.
Which means he had views that are great and fantastic.
We're gonna skip through this
with Dr. Martin Luther, straight white.
Because this is not what I want to talk about.
There are definitely problems in dividing people up into groups like the oppressed and the oppressor, because those groups essentially boil down to good people versus evil people, and tell those good people that all their problems are due to the actions of a nefarious group of evil people. Not
really. That's getting into conspiracy. I think you can add more layers to this than we good, they bad. All your problem are from bad people, and if they were gone, everything would be good. I think it's more lots of your problems or problems related to this specific thing are problems associated with people who believe this sort of thing, and that systemic system in society leads to a lot of the outcomes that you see in the world. I think that's understandable. I think I think most people can wrap their head around that. I don't think you have to go, everything in your life is terrible and it's only because of this. That's what cults do. That's what like people who try to recruit people into like Nazism and stuff do. And honestly, probably some people in like communism, they do that too. A lot of class reductionism, they do that as well. But I just like the general populace that identifies as progressive very highly opposed to that. I'm quite sure.
When you couple those ideas with the ideas put forward in the book Repressive Tolerance, begin to understand a lot of the actions taken.
Repressive Tolerance. Is this what this book is called? Wait. Oh, it is called. Oh. A Critique of Pure Tolerance. I think I'm gonna go with Critique of Pure Tolerance because that's what's on the cover. Repressive Tolerance. Here it is. Tolerance. Okay. So let's go with a Critique of Pure Tolerance because that's what he's going to talk about. He's not going to talk too much about repressive tolerance. He's going to talk about a critique of pure tolerance. And the thing is that Actual Justice Warrior doesn't believe in the tolerance paradox. He doesn't believe that that you shouldn't be discriminatory to. He doesn't believe that if you're not discriminatory to some sorts of ideas, then it's going to lead to then it's highly likely that it's going to lead to bad outcomes. Which is dumb. Like I'm pretty sure everybody believes that. I think everybody believes it's super simple. We should be okay with good ideas, but we should be not okay with bad ideas that are so bad that's going to lead to the detriment of society. I think we can all wrap our head around that. I don't think this is that bad. You've heard decent things about Americans. Yeah, I'm not sure. American ideologies are so happy when people die and can't represent their views for themselves. Yes, it's very beautiful. It is truly American, pure American. I'm not sure about anything about him, but I don't really care when it comes to this critique of this bad video.
By radical left-wing organizations like Antifa, and how they seem to be able to fit two conflicting narratives, like the idea that they're trying to protect civil liberties and freedom of speech, but at the same time they need to censor anybody whose speech is to the right of them. Protect civil liberties and freedom of speech. How they seem to be able to fit two conflicting narratives.
So two conflicting narratives. Here are the two conflicting narratives, and apparently this is conflicting.
The idea that they're trying to protect civil liberties and freedom of speech.
So protect civil liberties and freedom of speech. And it's true that in this Venn diagram of protecting civil liberties and freedom of speech, you can't do both. You just can't do both. You can't be pure speech, pure freedom of speech, as in you can say whatever you want, You can make whatever group you want, no matter what, in society, and everybody is completely tolerant to any idea that comes up. Because the marketplace of ideas is just going to weed out all the bad ones. We know that, right? Anytime that happens, we know that it's just not going to work out. It's just not. You can't do that. You can't protect civil liberties and you can't protect pure speech. There's a reason why you can't scream fire in a crowded theater. You can't do that. Is that free speech? Yes. I mean, I guess that would be that's curtailing free speech. We can't have pure free speech. You just can't do it. Because the marketplace of ideas just doesn't work perfectly. It just doesn't. And when that happens, we need to have other measures to make sure people don't get hurt and fall into these cracks. This is slightly contradictory. Well, slightly conflicting, but they're not contradictory. And that's the thing. He's trying to say they're contradictory. They're not. They're just slightly conflicting, which leads to us needing to be discriminatory towards some views. Like he said, it's a critique of pure tolerance. A lot of centrists and political normies get pretty easily caught up in the intolerance against intolerance narrative, which is pretty weird. It's snappy saying from the right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, 100%. Like you just can't do that. It's easy to wrap your head around because the right is very good with rhetoric. They're extremely good with rhetoric. Oh, the rhetoric sounds great. It's catchy. It's bumper stickers. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel really big brain. But it's not really smart. And it doesn't really mean anything once you like dig down into it. And I don't think you really will believe into it. You can't really defend it once you dig into it.
But at the same time, they need to censor anybody whose speech is to the right of them.
That's not true. I'm pretty sure lots of people will tolerate lots of speech that is to the right of them, even in a repressive tolerance society, where we acknowledge the tolerance paradox. I'm pretty sure we can be okay with some right winger spewing some nonsense. All right. And that can be battled out, but other things can't, because they're just illogical. We're going to need to draw a line somewhere. Yeah, you need to draw a line somewhere. We need some nuance. You can't just go black and white.
Oppressive idea within the United States and all Western countries. And because the existence of this dominant oppressive idea predates any free speech or any civil liberties that might be exercised today, there is no possible way for us to have free speech in the way that many of us seem to understand it, where people are allowed to engage in the battle of ideas, have discussions with one another, and the best ideas will rise to the top. According to Marcuse, the only ideas that will rise to the top in a society that respects freedom of speech as we all understand it are ideas that support the oppressive system that we all live under. And because of that,
not necessarily that, but it makes it way more likely for terrible ideas, like let's say Nazism, maybe, let's say Leninism, Maoism, that too, because they don't play by the same rules, right? They'll lie, they'll cheat, they'll propagandize, they'll do a lot of dirty tricks that is very good with rhetoric and gets a lot of people fired up, but it doesn't mean that they're good, right? We're not perfectly logical beings. We can be swayed, we can be moved, and we can be moved towards bad things. And they can go under they can dig under that imaginary fence of tolerance to pop out onto the other side and get us sneak through the back door.
Way, according to Marcuse, that we can get from the right side.
Let's move on a little bit. The withdrawal. Oh, is he gonna read it?
Of toleration of speech and assembly from groups and movements that promote aggressive policies, armament, chauvinism, discrimination on the grounds of race and religion, or which oppose the extension of public services, Social Security, Medicare, etc. Moreover, the restoration of freedom of thought may necessitate new and rigid restrictions on teachings and practices in the educational institutions. Now, on top of the
okay, so let's. I'm glad he read it because I'd like to go over this, and I'm kind of sad that the author of this book wasn't more clear, because sadly, people like him are going to come up and say, the withdrawal of tolerance of speech and assembly from groups and movements which promote aggressive policies sounds like, to these people, that we should have the government come in and throw them in gulags for a wrong thing, right? That's what it sounds like. Now, obviously, to me, and probably to you too, Kali Kami, what this sounds like is, hey, the social tolerance given to these groups that advocate for such heinous things probably should be revoked. They probably shouldn't be given the same sort of tolerance that we would to other people who believe in any number of other political ideologies, right? We should counter protest people who are having a Nazi rally. We should probably do that. That's revoking the social tolerance towards these sorts of ideas. That's what that means. And I think that's fine. Honestly, as a libertarian, I think he should be fine with that as well. I think he should be fine with private companies being able to censor people. It's not the government. I think he should be fine with two groups of people who are on the same level being able to protest and counter protest each other. I think that should be fine.
Practices in the Now, whether or not any particular far-left figure has actually read Mark Hughes directly is actually irrelevant, because his ideas have permeated wide and far in left-wing circles. If you've ever heard this idea that there's a paradox in tolerance, that is derived from the...
Oh no, I've been captured by Mark Hughes. We're gonna need to draw a line. We're gonna need to draw a line.
Furthermore, it's important to note how much Mark Hughes wants to narrow what is acceptable debate and stop you from being able to advocate against any extension of public services. Every single Democratic candidate running in the primary right...
I think there should be, I think he should be the same tolerance should be revoked. I think you should have a massive counter protest if there was a anti-Medicare for all protest going on. If there was like an anti let's give poor people health care protest, I think there should be a counter protest to that. I think they should be, I don't think the government should be doing it. I think the people should be doing it, probably. Because I don't really want the government to have the ability to say what and what not should be considered proper think, you know? That's just me. But that's about enough of this video that I can take. That's about enough of him that I can take.